Alright, so here we are over in Simplify 3D. We loaded up our PolyPearl Tower Challenge print, and I switched the profile to the new PET profile with all the settings we had. So our final print specifications are for temperature are 235 and 40. And the only other thing we've been doing is after this third layer and beyond, we turn the fan on 100%, and we keep the door open while we're printing. I'm going to be going through page by page and see the comparison between this and ABS and this and PLA, so you can see what the differences are. All right, so if this can do anything like the Amazon did on this challenging print, then I think we're really got the settings dialed in. So let's check this out. It's an hour and 48 minutes. Okay, so that'll take a while, but we'll see how it turns out. Over to the time lapse. Alright, so here's our result. There's a string at the tip, which is no big deal. Let's see if we can get this off of here. Let's try our long one. Looks a little bit better. Yeah, that looked great. This spatula is good for some things, but this one has a thinner tip on it. One side is thinner than the other. It's got a little bit of taper on it. You can see it, might be able to see the difference in color. This is really good at getting off everything. So it comes off nice and smooth. So I'm not going to change the bed temperature. Base looks perfect. And there's a little bit of stringing between the helixes, but if you look at the Amazon one, this is PLA now. It had a little bit of stringing as well. So the bridge at the bottom looks perfect. This is amazing how I have to believe that the change was putting 100% fan and leaving the door open. I almost ready to give up on this filament, but look at that. That's perfect. Now I'm kind of wondering whether I should go back to 240. So I think I'm going to try to print, because you get better layer adhesion. I'm going to go back to 240 and print the stringy towers again and see if it's the towers a little bit stronger than they were last time. But this is really great. All right, so we're back here in our least favorite test. Actually, since it's working, I don't mind it so much anymore. We're going to change the temperature from 235 to 240. Hopefully that'll help with the wipe move. When it first prints, it puts a wipe on the front of the, let's go and save this before I forget. It puts a stripe on the front here, and 235 is still skipping a little bit, which I'm not that happy with. So let's run it at 240 and see if we get as good as we did at 235, maybe even better. Because remember that one of the towers broke off, so with higher temperature, it may have better bed adhesion. So. All right, so it's going to take 21 minutes, and we'll switch over to the time lapse. This one printed with no strings except the very last one back up to the print head when it was done. And let's see if the towers, oh, that broke that tower off again. So this design is not really that strong, so I'm not worried about it. Towers look perfect. There's one little string at the bottom, but I'm not worried about that. Let's compare that to the last one we did, I guess. Here's the one at 235. This one has a little bit of a... They both have a little fringing here. Yeah, I can see that now. A little bit of fringing from where it goes across. Yeah. All right. Actually, this one was... This is at a lower temperature. Where's the last one we did at 235 here? This one had it broken off. Yeah, a teeny bit of fringing here. These are easy to break off, so. Alright, I think we'll just go with 240 and go on to the next thing. So we're just going to print fill. Takes about an hour and 7 minutes. And we'll, if he turns out well, then this is similar to what we're going to be printing, at least some of the concepts here with spheres and 45-degree angling up and things like that. So this is what our last print will be. If this works, then we'll just proceed and print some real stuff. Fill. It looks pretty good. Get rid of this. This is a 240. And there's one string coming from the top of his head over to the extruder. That's fine. I'll get him off of here. From this side. There we go. So Phil looks really good. His indented letter looks okay. On the back, it's 45-degree angle upright, and the little details look okay. Don't see a lot of string, no string between his feet. And the sphere, with this little grooves in it, looks pretty good. Let's get rid of that string. And, well, detail on the number on the back is not that great. I'll have to compare that to the other one I did with PLA, but bottom line is if this PETG can print these two kinds of things, it's going to do anything I want it to do. I'm not interested in printing little tiny details necessarily, so let's just take one more look at everything we did and we'll wrap it up. Alright, well, we kind of obsessed over this stringy tower test. This is the first all-in-one print we did. I noticed a lot of stringing, so I said, how do you get rid of stringing? Found this test and a bunch of suggestions about how to print, and it didn't really, most of them were bad. This is one towards the end, but I didn't bring over the most current ones. But then I found out if you turn the fan on 100% after the third layer and onward, you can print stuff like this. So this is great. Can't print little teeny characters. This is PLA. This is the cheap PLA that comes with the printer, and it's able to print all these little one line width characters, including diagonally, on here. So for that kind of stuff, we're going to use PLA. For other things that are going to take more hard knocks, they're not going to be as finely detailed, although this has got plenty of detail. So if I can do something like this, that's more than enough for what I need. It's mostly going to be, you know, some overhangs like this, and maybe some spheres and things like that. And so if we can do that, then that's all I really needed to do. It's a good alternative to ABS, apparently, although I had some second thoughts at one point. Maybe I should just be using ABS because I know how to print that. But I think this is a good addition. It's a lot less smelly than ABS, and also it should shrink less. So by making multiple parts that need to fit together, this is going to be a better solution. So that's it for PET. We have another reel of PET that I got from another company. I can't remember what company this is right now. I'll have to open it up, but this is black PET. This company's not going out of business, so remember this is the HQA PET, which they're having a fire sale right now. So I'm not sure I'm going to buy any more because I want to print things, you know, I'm trying to print things for sale, so I need to be able to have a source of filament that I can keep getting as things sell. So that's it for PET for now, and we'll go on to the next thing. All right, as a final wrap-up, I want to compare the settings for PET versus ABS, which I think is most similar to ABS. So if we look at the layers, this is the ABS that comes with the printer. It's, you know, inexpensive ABS. Okay, so it's like everything on this page is the same. We didn't end up changing anything for the extruder page. We click on layer. Layers are all the same. Oh, you know what? I think one thing was different. No, yeah, so extrusion multiplier for ABS was 1, and also for the PET. So. All right, so now if we go to layer, so layers are all the same. The first height layer is 90, and this is just general printing. We're not doing fine printing, so we're only doing 1.2 millimeter layer height. If we were doing 0.1, maybe there's some of that fine printing stuff would have come out better. I didn't think about that till now. So if I'm printing specific things that need a little more detail, I might obviously change this for PET to 0.1. I've done that for other filaments. All right, we're not doing additions. Infill. This is the 50% infill, and I only did this one at 20 because I wasn't really doing anything. I was just printing fill. So if I was printing some structural parts, I would bump this up for PET. But for testing, it doesn't really matter. It saves filament and speeds things up to print with less infill. So I printed a bunch of parts for the printer itself using this profile, so that's why it's at 50. Like the outside reel holder, things like that, were printed with ABS. So now I have another option. I could print it with PET, although I think ABS is probably still better. All right, so temperature is one place where it's different. So so we're using 40-degree bed temperature here. Now, most of the websites say, you know, use 80, 90 degrees for PET. I didn't find that necessary with the Flashforge and its that blue textured build surface. It was adhering fine for me. So if you just make it hotter, it's going to stick better, and it might be harder to get off. So that worked for me. And we're using 240 for the temperature, and over here we're using 230. So again, a high temperature, not quite as high as this one. Cooling, we did do some things differently. And I think this was the magic thing here, was to start cooling at 100% and also print with the enclosure open, with the door open and the top off for PET. For ABS, they tell you to close everything up, which is what we did. So for printing ABS, we have the front door closed and the lid on. And here they just have, you know, let the slicing software to figure out what the cooling temperature should be. Here we said after third layer, put 100%. That makes apparently, that's my experience and what this other website said, which I'll put a link in, said that 100% after the third layer causes the PET to cool very quickly. And so you don't end up with blobbing. So they said the parts might not be quite as strong, but I'm not really concerned about that. I don't think that's going to be an issue. So for speed, some of the speeds are different here. We were told to slow down PET printing, which we did. We slowed down a lot more to begin with. I think down to 2,000 at one point, but I ended up going back to 3,000. The other thing to cut down on stringing was to increase the XY axis movement speed, which we really bumped up, you know, almost by another 40%. We didn't change the x-axis. I don't see where that would make any difference. It could speed things up, but now for other, I don't think we did anything on here. No. And advanced. Now advanced over here, normally I would uncheck this, but I'm going to uncheck it now because that cuts down on stringing. So I'm going to actually update that. These I didn't put in the fine
I did put single extrusion walls over here. That helps, particularly with that all-in-one print. It helps with printing some of the smaller details. But I didn't change this. I learned later that if you change these, that you can put much more. You can put much smaller details on a print. So for the ABS, I'm not really trying to do detailed stuff, so I don't need to change that. All right, so that's the difference between the two, and your mileage may vary, of course, but this is what works for me, and it obviously took a long time. It took 2 or 3 days now struggling with it, and luckily today I hit the magic bullet, which was this cooling thing. And again, I ended up with doing 240. It just extrudes a lot better. Another thing I would do at the beginning of each print, I'm going to do a load filament as part of the warm-up procedure for the machine if I do it from a cold start, just to get the filament flowing smoothly through the print head. And then by the time I start the print, it's only gone down maybe 20 degrees or so, so it's still going smoothly. And it doesn't have a chance to kind of plug up. So those are the hints I would have is before you do a print, do a load filament. It doesn't use up that much filament and just gets everything flowing smoothly. All right, that's the last thing on PET for now, and we'll see what happens next.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is Beta Cygni signing out, and keep looking up.